You're very welcome to Belturbet community project. My name is George Morrissey. I've been involved with this project since 1994. This is a railway heritage project which is owned and managed by Belturbet community, and volunteering has always played a big part in the running and the success of this project. This building was built by the Great Northern Railway Ireland, and it is the only one of its kind on the entire system built of cut stone, which the stone was sourced from the River Aire a few hundred yards from my left. And a fine example of the stonemason's art is in the station master's house, the two-storey building at the end of the line here.
My name is Joan. I have been a volunteer for the last 10 years with the Belturbet Community Railway. We have a leaflet with a plan, and each area of importance is numbered. For example, we are number 1 and number 2. We are now in the reception and waiting room area. On restoration around the 1999, this area, it was decided not to restore the waiting room wall, which actually had been demolished while the site remained derelict for over 40 years. The steamship Belturbet was another choice of travel when people came off the train. The centre area, which is the original brass plate for the SS Belturbet. This map shows the route of the Cavan and Leitrim narrow gauge railway. It started its journey from Belturbet and moved on along these different areas.
This is an example of a convertible goods wagon which was used on the Cavan and Leitrim narrow gauge railway to transport either cattle or goods. A section of the roof was removed and replaced with a canvas shawl, which was then rolled back when it was used to transport cattle. The cattle needed ventilation. It became known as a shawly wagon, and there were several of these on the Cavan and Leitrim railway used, especially on market days. Inside, part of the flooring has been left exposed to show the great workmanship used in the construction of the very strong foundation. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Sam O'Keefe. I'm now going to bring you on our next section of our tour. We're now standing on the Great Northern Railway platform, and as we know, there was 2 companies in Belturbet at that particular time. The Cavan and Leitrim Railway was also here. Here we have a Ruston's diesel engine. This engine was sourced by the committee back in the mid-1990s when they were refurbishing the railway. It's a Ruston's engine. It was original passenger carriage, but it was taken apart to what you see it today, and it's used as a display area for us. Here we have what was known as a cow catcher. Where the name came from, I honestly do not know. But it was on the front of the Cavan and Leitrim engine. This brake wagon is 30 tons in weight, and it was used at the back end of the train. And the reason that it was there and its function was to steady the train. My grandfather, Patrick O'Keefe, would have operated a wagon very similar to this. Out of 7 of his sons, 5 of his sons worked on the railway, and one of those sons was my dad. So I would be the 3rd generation to be involved in the railway, which is very personal to me. This is a Ruston's Hornsby engine, and it was sourced up in Donegal from Bordnamona. Here we are at the crossover platform, and at the crossover platform we have the Cavan and Leitrim rail would have been in there. And then on the other side here we have the Great Northern Railway track was running along the platform on that side there.
We are now at the Cavan and Leitrim narrow gauge goods store, and this is where the trains would have come in from this direction here, from Ballyconnell, come in here, and you can see the track would have run along the door here, which was very convenient for taking out the goods. We're at the transshipment shed. As you can see here behind me, it's like a huge hay shed. The train would have come up here with the wagons of cattle and coal from a loop line, from the main line. It would have come up this way here, and the men would have set in, and the cattle would have had to be herded across the tracks here onto the Great Northern side.
Hello, my name is Janetta, and I would like to show you a little bit of the railway station that I really, really like. At the moment you can hear the birds singing, there's no any noises. It was nothing like that 100 years ago, not at all. This area was covered with, it was a network of tracks. It was an extremely busy place. Everything is very exciting, but I think you'll be more excited with the real treasure that we hid inside. Because inside we have royal carriage.
The Great Northern Railway goods store. This is where all the goods going in and coming out move through. This is the area where one of the 6 lines that went in and out through this yard travelled. The crane on our right hand side here was used for lifting heavy pieces of goods. Monthly cattle fairs were held on the fair green in Belturbet. When the cattle were being purchased, they were walked up onto this area platform, which is called the cattle dock. And here in front of where I'm standing was the train with empty trucks waiting to load them up for shipping out to Belfast, Dublin or London.